Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here with Peterson Electric. Just want to update you here on the second part of this video for Sprinter Van. The first video was just really about why I bought it. Here's the second part of the video to show you a little bit more. First of all, guys, there's a 5-speed transmission with a Triptronic shifting right here. You're able to shift and step down and up on it. There is no diesel exhaust brake on this, just so you know. As far as this ASR, if you see that come on and off right there as I do this, you want to keep that in the off position, and that's going to help you stabilize as you drive for the back end, because it does stabilize the wheels so they don't spin out. So it's a really pretty good traction system. Keep that question mark exclamation off, just so you know, because I didn't know that for the longest time. The other thing is, make sure you're trying to get your dials right here. This is the best setting for the feet. I have to say one thing about this van: it really sucks on the vents going down below to your feet. I hope they change that. It really has not been, it's one thing I have not liked, that's for sure. And then as far as this, you want to keep these cool vents off when you're trying to defrost. It really seems like it helps push out those. This is cool air. It's really only for summer, just so you know, on and off. And then the other thing I want to talk to you guys about was over here. Let me go around to the other side. Oh, don't forget that you've got a lot of great storage compartments right in here. That's what else I really love about the van. A lot of good compartments that you wouldn't think you'd have. The other thing I wanted to keep in mind is that when you go to unlock the door, the signal can be weak, and I don't know, you can check your battery, but I've checked my battery on my fob a lot. I haven't had an issue with that. More of what I've had an issue was the lock system. So you want to hit to open the back down here, and then open the front up here. But keep in mind that if it's kind of weak and you're not hitting on the driver's side, I can't say I can walk out about 100 foot like my Duramax and turn things on and off, but from here I'll be on the back side of the bumper over here, and I'll have to hit this and just kind of aim it toward the door, because this is where the module is, just so you know, down in this part right here. A couple other storage compartments here as well. I want to tell you one other thing, guys. I really made a huge mistake on this. I washed my van on a Sunday, and we had a snowstorm. It was more like an ice storm that night, and I had water pooled up right down in here, and I didn't know. I thought that drained. I had an ice cube right here. I could not get the door open for 2 solid days, and I wouldn't have been able to open it for a week. There is a chain system right in here. What happened is the ice built up on this little guy here, and this spring in here, it's kind of like a lawnmower with a cable. I hope you can see that. A lawnmower with the cable right there, and that froze up on me. And that is supposed to try to hook right there. So now I've got to get that repaired. I don't know if it's just because it wore out at 96,000 miles, but bottom line is I'll have to get that cable fixed. But don't let that ice pool up right down there in the bottom. Take a towel and wipe that out right in here. Otherwise you won't get it open, or you'll break that chain and wreck your door. So that is one bad design, that they didn't put a little drain hole right down there at the bottom. Other than that, guys, yeah, don't forget, I also would always get yourself your windows to open and your mirrors to adjust. A lot of the stuff is more standard now when they sell it, so getting that mirror control and your both windows on this side, and then your automatic locks. The fact that you got really nice tilt steering on here, some of that is an extra option, so we do like that as well. But make sure you get also in the beginning of it this, because I had to get this put on, and this camera's nice because I can actually have it run 24/7 and see the back of it. But yeah, I had to get that put in, so I would just buy that up front, everything that they say in there, because it's really worth the money. And then the new one also has a GPS navigation on it too. I had to get this put in for navigation and whatnot, so that deck. But anyways, hopefully it'll help you out. Keep those couple pointers in mind, so that way you guys aren't having an issue like I did with a couple things, and that'll help you out, you know, if it does ice up. I took and did basically 6 pans of water and dumped it right down there in the bottom, if you can see that. and I kept dumping ice, and I had my van backed up in the driveway with my nose going down so the water would pool. And finally it melted and I was able to open that door. But don't force it or you'll break it. So anyways, hopefully you learned by my mistake there, and you can look at seeing, let me know if you have any questions about the van. And I did forget to mention in the other video, the oil changes are about 200 bucks. Seems a little expensive, but you got 14.5 quarts of synthetic Mercedes oil. I would not suggest to go anywhere for their oil other than with them, because there is an additive, and I forgot the digit or name to it, but there is an additive that you have to have. If you're going to do it yourself, just go to the store. But oh, and there's one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Do not let just anybody work on your van. I won't mention the name of who did this, but, and I don't normally cuss as much as I don't need to, but they really fucked up my van. They said that they had worked on Sprinters. I asked them specifically. It was only about 18 months old, so it was 2014. And there is, I don't know if the new ones are like this, but down here, I'm gonna see if I can find this for you guys. Right here, you see that? That's the fuel filter. That fuel filter right in there, the knob's coming off. There is a different of a harness if there's 7 or 5 wires. I don't work on my van at all, I have them do it. But this guy did not seat the ring right when he changed out the fuel filter, and then he went to put back on my 5-inch blower. He didn't seal the ring perfect, and it sucked into the turbo within 100 miles. And when it sucked into my turbo, down in here, he shredded it, and it went all the way through, that gasket went through my turbo and destroyed it. That was going to be a $5,000 fix. So really important lesson, make sure the people that work on it are only the people that are the dealer and know for sure that they're certified on the Sprinter, because they are a little temperamental. So again, I don't even work on my oil anymore. I just take it in. It's kind of a nice thing about getting older. You don't have to crawl under there so much. I still work on my old SUV and my Honda for my daughter, but when it comes to the Duramax and the diesel van here, I just don't feel like I have enough comfortability on that. So again, don't be a cheap ass. Let them take care of you. But again, that is 14.5 oils of synthetic oil, and if you put in the wrong stuff, you will fuck up your engine. The last thing was, keep in mind that the DEF, they like to scare you on the DEF. You can buy that DEF at Walmart or at Napa. I went through that for years wondering, oh, am I putting the right stuff in? Yeah, the last thing about this van is that if you let it sit and idle in the winter, you'll notice that your DEF engine light will kick on at about 7,000 miles, and you're supposed to change it at 10. During the summer, if I had to change the oil, it kicks on almost perfectly at 8,200 to 8,500 miles. But if you idle it, you will have that issue. Now, the last thing about idling, you don't want to idle all the time. I know it's hard in the winter, but if you do, you will clog up your EGR valve, and then you have to do a regen. And they do charge you to do a regen. But keep in mind, when you're driving home late at 60 miles or 50 miles, if you put it right at about, I think they said, 62 miles an hour, 60, 65, somewhere about 60, you will actually do your own kind of self-regen for, and you keep it right on that mark when you put it on your cruise control. That'll do it itself, so keep that in mind. You can kind of do that. But if you get it gummed up, they'll have to regen it. And how do you know is you go around the corners and it starts dogging on you. And you're like, why is it choking a bit? Especially mine did it when it was hot out. Only when it was hot around 2 o'clock, and I was only going stoplight to stoplight. But when I was on the highway, it never did. So that was basically a little learning lesson there, to not let it idle too long. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us up. I hope it helps you out, those videos. I really wish someone would have helped me out on mine. But again, this is a 2012 Sprinter. Love the van. It's been just solid for us to have as a company. Take care.